Now, this year, I'm really passionate, as you know, about helping as many people create financial sovereignty as possible. And honestly, five-figure months make all the difference in our quality of life. We can be happy without money, but why don't we just be happy with money? That money is going to allow us to reinvest back into the business, hire the mentors we want, hire other coaches and so on, maybe upgrade our branding, and then of course allow us to move out of I just need enough to get by. And that's one of the mindsets actually that we need to release, because we don't actually need a lot to live on. Even if you feel you have expensive taste, we don't actually need that much. But that'll be a mindset I hear a lot from people that haven't quite hit the five-figure month mark or hit it consistently. Their mind is, and it's unconscious, and we all are subject to this programming where we believe that we only need enough to get by. So somehow it's selfish, or it's gluttonous, or it's whatever, or it's unnecessary, right, to have more than what we need. For me, I live a very simple life. I really don't need a lot. I could live very comfortable on $5,000 a month, and as most of you know, I have built a bit of an empire for myself, and I did that in part because I wanted to stretch myself. I wanted to let money be my healer, and I wanted to let money be my teacher. So we have to release the employee mindset and really be honest and say, would I hire me? Would I hire me to be the CEO of my company? And if the answer is no, then we want to look at, well, what is it that needs to shift? Where do I need to require more of myself? Where do I need to stop doing X? Where do I need to start doing Y? And be willing to see that, right, with love and without judgment, because there is no judgment. This is a journey, right? It's meant to kick issues. So the other thing that happens when we're getting into five-figure months is we're learning how to lead up, right? So we lead ourselves, and in leading ourselves, we're able to lead others. And then we're more able to attract leaders, for example, because of how we're showing up. Energy attracts like, right? So we have that come in what we want to be creating. And additionally, it's easier to do business when we're in our leadership energy, because people just naturally want to work with us. So it makes life a lot easier. So the other thing that keeps people from five-figure months is lack of self-worth and lack of confidence. And I can't think of a time I've met anyone that isn't at five-figure months that isn't having that as an issue. So it's by no means a judgment. It's a common thing. You're not alone if you're experiencing that. And there's also opportunity to shift that, right? There's people out there that can help. There's audio trainings. There's all kinds of things. And so if we choose to stay in that for a long period of time, then that's a choice, and that's an avoidance tactic that we'll use to not do the thing that feels hard. And we all know we have to eat the frogs in our business. That just means we have to get the tough stuff out of the way at the beginning of the day so it doesn't drain our energy. And it doesn't mean you have to eat frogs every day, but there will be some frogs in your business. The sooner that we can face those, right, instead of avoiding that, that will take us a long way. So that's some of the internal stuff. But when I look back to my own journey and I look at some of the people I've coached over the years, the journey from five-figure years to six-figure years, which is really what a five-figure month would give you. If you had consistent five-figure months for 12 months straight, let's say they were 10,000 even every month, that's $120,000, right? So that's a six-figure year, and then it probably is about 100K if you keep your overhead low. So the journey to get there is exactly what I said, learning how to release the employee mindset, learning how to rise up and be the CEO in our company, learning how to be uncomfortable and let that be fun. So when I'm uncomfortable in my business, and I'm still uncomfortable, there's always going to be something in my company that I'm uncomfortable doing. And I can talk myself, we can rationalize all that. I'm really good at that. I can give myself all the reasons that I can't do it. And then eventually I have to have a heart-to-heart with myself. So it really, when I am uncomfortable, then I know it's time to celebrate. Because when I was comfortable, I was comfortable, right? And then sometimes when we're comfortable for too long, that actually becomes uncomfortable. So that's either a sign that it's time to shift something, and we don't want to wait for the universal 2x4 because it will eventually come if we don't shift up that energy. The second reason why we can be uncomfortable is because we're actually leaving the comfort zone that we said we wanted to leave. So it's a celebration. It's an actual symptom that we're feeling as evidence to show that we've already left our old comfort zone and we're about to find our new comfy chair that we can get comfortable in for a few months until we get uncomfortable again in that chair and go and find a new one, and so on and so on. So on a mechanical perspective, there'll be certain things that you absolutely must have to get to 5-figure months. And there's a lot of coaches that were like nutritionists that all of a sudden become business coaches and stuff overnight. And they don't really know. They just know that they had success, so they feel like that's enough. And it's not. You have to know things like, what is my business model? Am I a coaching model? Am I a licensing model? Am I a franchise model? Like, what's my business model? Because within that model, that's going to show us what we need to offer, and it's going to help the customer have a very flowing journey with us. If the customer is confused, any confused buyer cannot buy. So they might like us, they might want to still hang out in our energy, but if they're confused, then they just can't buy. So we have to know our business model, and within that, if we are, my business is more of a boutique business model, and it's a coaching certification model, so it's a hybrid. So I sell information, I sell certification, I sell, so on, and most of you know what I sell. And but if I was strictly selling information or strictly selling memberships, then my job would be a numbers game. I would be on operation list building all the time because those kind of business models require numbers. So I am not going to get 5-figure months selling $97 products with no list. And sadly, there's a lot of coaches out there that can tell you that you're going to get to 5-figure months, but they don't tell you how. And that's a real disservice, right? Because not all businesses are created equal. You can have a 6-figure month every month if you want to, if you're selling really high ticket, right? If you were selling a 100K coaching program, and some people do, right, to very premium clients, you only need to sell one one-to-one coaching program, like one private coaching program per month to make 100K a month. That's super easy. But there's a bunch of things that need to happen behind the scenes to allow that to happen. There's a certain amount of credibility we need to create, a certain amount of visibility. We need to look the part, right? We need to be the part. So there's all kinds of things that people often don't tell you when they're encouraging you to do that. So with 5-figure months, you can certainly have 5-figure months if you're going to sell really low ticket. But again, you have to have the numbers, and you have to figure out where those numbers are coming from. How often are you in operation list building? Do you have really magnetic lead generators, or freebies, some people call them? Are you networking with really powerful centers of influence and spheres of influence so that they can refer business to you? Like, where are you being showcased such that a business like that is going to require easily 10,000 people on a list, but probably closer to 30 to 50,000 qualified leads on your email list. And it doesn't mean you can't do it from social media as well, but that's heavy lifting, and there are people that can do it, but they will tell you all they do all the time is relationship building. They're brokering joint venture deals, and they are on constant operation list building, which usually is costly, right? You can't build your list to 30,000 organically. You are going to have to spend money on ads. You are going to have to spend money on digital marketing companies that shop you around and get you everywhere. Or you're going to have to do 100 podcast interviews a month with different audiences and have your freebie there so that people are opting in. It's not good or bad. It's just a different kind of work. And so if that's not appealing to you, then having that kind of business model is not going to be for you. But people aren't going to tell you that, right? Because they may not really understand. They may be too new to business coaching. They might have been in business for 10 years as a nutritionist, and now they're 6 months as a business coach, and they're not telling you this stuff because they don't know to tell you that. They're just trying to tell you their model. So with a higher ticket coaching model, you can see you don't really need to sell that much to make 5-figure months. Let's say have a coaching program that's $2,000 a month retainer, then that means you only need to bring on 5 clients in a month. That's super easy to do. Except it's not if the mindset's not on board, because it's always all going to go back to mindset. If you're in an energy of who me, or you're not willing to be visible, or you're not willing to position yourself as an expert in those kind of things, to create as well. But even if you had $1,000 offer, let's say you had a $1,000 course, and it's an 8-week course, you only need to sell 10 spots this month. And if you make it a no-brainer for people to sign up for, then it's totally doable. So you can see that the math is actually really easy with certain business models and certain offers. So 5-figure months are completely doable. It's not about the money, and it's not about the structure, although that's important to have in place, right? So that you have clarity and so that your customers have clarity. But it really is an inside game. And then once you get consistent 5-figure months, you have the breathing room to delegate some of those things that you don't want. And then you can now get into multi-5-figure months, get up to 6-figure months, because you have the bandwidth, because you're not spending your energy in things that are not your zone of genius. So the motivation to have 5-figure months actually really needs to be about giving yourself freedom and giving yourself space to stay in your zone of genius and hire someone to take care of all of the other things that are not your zone of genius, that don't line you up, that maybe drain your energy or maybe create micro leaks for you.